This is an air view of the area, and this is down in the river Pastaza. This is the Pastaza water, the Pastaza basin between Ecuador upstream and Peru downstream. In Peru, it has more than nearly 4 million hectares, 804 species of tree and shrub, 57 species of amphibian, 261 bird species, 292 fish species, 66 mammal species, and 38 reptile species. And it's a Ramsar site. Lake Rimachi is on the right bank of the Pastaza River. I'm not sure of here, this. And it's the largest Peruvian Amazonian lake with over 790 square kilometers. Belongs to part of the Pastaza River wetland complex, the largest Ramsar site in the entire Amazon. Rimachi Lake is part of a series of interconnected Lotic and Lentic black water systems, and estimates of fish diversity in the Abanico del Pastaza reported 292 species, especially the work was done by World Wildlife Fund and also with a United States researcher. And according to Kandoshi fishermen, 21 species are available for commercial use in Lake Rimachi. Nearly in all the region of Pastaza Ramsar site, 30,000 indigenous people, mainly Kandoshi, are living there. But you see that we have Shawi, Quechua, Ashua, Awarun or Aguaruna, and Wampis, and Chapra also. At the end of the 90s, the lake was strongly affected by three things: pollution from poorly implemented oil operation. We do have a lot of oil operation in the northern part, Peruvian one. Also pressure from activities such as illegal logging and poaching, and then overfishing and climate change processes. We used to say in Amazon basin there's not a very strong impact of climate change. It's completely wrong. In the highest Amazon, very near this part, in San Martin department, we do have more than 100 rivers completely dry right now. The nature of resources and access are very important, but we see that nature of resources usually differs, is very mobile and fugitive, depending on the seasons also. Ability for control is usually low, but ancestral community is high, and access to the resource is open in the Pastaza, but very restricted in the lakes for accessibility. Lake Rimachi is a direct and irreplaceable source of income for about 2,500 people in over 30 Kandoshi communities settled along two rivers and also the Pastaza itself. Before this situation, Peruvian government gave its management in concession to Kandoshi communities. It's the first time we have this type of figure. Primarily, they got rid of the fishery belonging to Ministry of Fishing. They closed them. Secondly, they banned fishing for 2 years. It was the communities asked for that. Consequently, the Rimachi has recovered its fish populations, and actually with the help of World Wildlife Fund, and also with the help of 2 other institutions, very important one, which are the IAP, which is Peruvian Amazon Research Institute, and also Profonampe, which is Peruvian Trust Fund for National Parks and Protected Areas. Kandoshi peoples protect their lake and organize their own fishing activities. We see, for example, they have organized and they help to do this map of fishing camps, and fishing camps is according to season also. It's very interesting. Some views, no? Children going to fishing also, and how they are integrated, combining access to fish, knowing the nature of the resource, the spatial and temporal availability, the fishing grade, and trying to value their knowledge, no? And also making local agreements between the different communities, village, and the other community, and having control committees with a special embarkation, no, boat, but also access to fishing grounds and access to markets. This last part was the most difficult, and here, especially Profonampe and IAP help a lot for having how to conserve the fish, no, with salt mainly. And we have salt mine in Amazonian, in the Amazon, North Amazon of Peru, but also all the organization and the language. The resilience of customary governance regimes on water resources has led water law experts and researchers to concede that they should be taken into account when preparing modern legislation on water resource governance or integrating customary law into civil law. Through a strong cooperation between indigenous authorities and public ones, the first indigenous fishing plan has been approved by the Peruvian government. And this means for Kandoshi people food security, but food security alone is not enough. It will last very few years. We need to link food, water, and energy security in the context of climate change and understand that global sustainability depends entirely upon healthy ecosystems. And ecosystem linkage between Lake Rimachi and its surrounding environment, means forest ecosystem, have been undertaken because in the surrounding environment, we have oil camps, and you see, I just put photos, and you see the high impact. And impact in forest means impact in sediments, impact in water quality, and less fish again. And also, we have another type of impact in the aguaral. All these forests are of aguaral. Aguaral is Mauricia flexuosa. In Colombia, we call that morichales. In Peru, aguarales. And Humboldt, Alexander von Humboldt, called the tree of life. And in spite of the existence of climbing and harvesting techniques, very low-cost techniques that do not require chopping down the palm tree, the harvest is frequently accomplished by cutting the plant's trunk. Harvesting by cutting down is severely affecting the female aguaje plant populations. Like this, it affects the trophic relationships of floodable areas due to their dietary importance to the Amazonian fauna, especially mammifers, but also fishes in the rainy season, and causing the population's genetic erosion since only the best individual trees are cut down. So I will show you the experience.
This is the Pastaza Morona Basin, the largest wetland of the western Amazon. It's a Ramsar site, or wetland of international importance, located in Datem del Marañón province in the Loreto region. Found here is Lake Ramachi, the largest in the Peruvian Amazon that contains an abundance and large variety of fish. The lake connects with the Pastaza, which together with the Morona are the most important rivers of this ecosystem. There are 7 indigenous peoples in Datem del Marañón, each with its own characteristics. They are the Quechua, Achuar, Wampis, Kandoji, Chapra, Awahun, and Shawi. They live mostly by hunting, fishing, and collecting forest fruits. The aguaje palm is the dominant species in these wetlands, which are called aguajales. A typical aguajal contains tons of carbon dioxide captured from the atmosphere. They could remain there for centuries if the ecosystem were not altered. The aguajal is therefore a very relevant ecosystem for climate change mitigation. There are more than 5 million hectares, more than 12 million acres, of aguajales in the Peruvian Amazon. The decomposition of aguajal organic soil material generates humus, nearly 10% more in an aguajal than in a forest ecosystem. The humus serves as a trap for the carbon dioxide extracted from the atmosphere by the aguaje palms, as long as the ecosystem is maintained with its vegetation cover and is saturated with water. The Amazon is accumulating nearly 90% of Peru's stock of soil carbon. That represents nearly half of the greenhouse gas emissions of Peru. By cutting down forests, the CO2 accumulated in the vegetation is again released into the atmosphere. The Amazon dwellers go to the aguajales to harvest aguaje, although they unfortunately generally cut down the palms to facilitate the harvest. They call the aguaje the tree of life. The aguaje fruit contains many vitamins and valuable nutrients, and for many river dwellers, it is their only source of income. Iquitos, Peru's main Amazonian city, consumes 15 tons daily of aguaje. That translates into cutting more than 300 aguaje trees a day, or 15 trees an hour. But when a palm tree is felled, it opens an entrance for the sun's rays that heat the organic material in the soil. The carbon dioxide then returns to the atmosphere, aggravating the greenhouse effect. How can this practice of destructive cutting be ended without affecting the life of other communities? By climbing the trees instead of cutting them. Very simple harnesses called tree climbers exist for that purpose. And many communities are already learning to harvest the aguaje fruit without cutting down the aguajes.
De los años anteriores venimos cortando los árboles, pero esta vez ya estamos adaptándonos a una capacitación que estamos cosechando con escalones, con la finalidad de poder aprovechar los frutos y a no matar las palmeras.
The municipality of Datem del Marañón established the legal framework. It created 2 environmental conservation areas in coordination with indigenous organizations, and the Peruvian National Trust Fund for Parks and Protected Areas, Profonampe, advocated local management of each area, linked to the development of biobusinesses. Each area has a leader, and communal vigilance committees undertake patrols to stop the felling of aguaje palms.
Mira, ¿qué tan fácil es? Simplemente lo que queremos es interés de aprender, nada más. Eso es lo que se requiere. Esta chalupa fue otorgado por Profonampe del proyecto Pastaza Morona para utilizar en beneficio al monitoreo, a la fiscalización y a la sensibilización de toma de conciencia para no deteriorar y poder proteger lo que es la palmera, que es aguaje.
Este es el asiento.
Simultaneously, sustained management techniques were perfected to give added value to aguaje, and the villagers were trained to use tree climbers.
Para mí era una cosa tan difícil, pero yo más me practicaba solo mirando y he aprendido esto. Y me he puesto solita a practicar y me salió muy bien. Ahora estoy capacitando a los demás.
Today, the aguaje of nearly 50 participating communities doesn't go to distant markets. It arrives at processing plants close to the communities, where it is transformed into pulp. But this is just the beginning. Soon, valuable aguaje oil will be offered for cosmetic products, granola, flakes, nutraceuticals, and other products. The experience could be similar to that obtained by products such as Peruvian quinoa or Brazilian acai, classified as superfoods. This type of aguaje utilization would generate business opportunities, not only for the indigenous communities, but also urban societies, as well as a very powerful incentive to preserve the aguaje palm wetlands. The aguajales are not yet a dynamic source of sustained economic development. The harvest in remote areas does not reach industrial commercialization volumes because it quickly becomes perishable. Transportation is expensive, and sustainable supply chains that promote conservation don't exist. Today, the indigenous know that they will be able to harvest aguajes from the same tree within a year, and over many years to come. The low value of the aguajales by decision-makers creates fears that the aguajales will be transformed into agricultural lands dedicated, for example, to palm oil, as has already occurred in some zones of the Amazon. An aguaje does not grow rapidly. Inside the aguajal, it takes decades to bear fruit, and in open environments, no fewer than 8 years. In this specific experience, the communities themselves are the protagonists. It is hoped that it will be replicated in many other Amazon areas in order to conserve, in productive form and with deforestation practices avoided, those ecosystems as valuable for lessening climate change as for the local economy. Together, the Amazon forests regulate the Earth's climate. If their wetlands disappeared, not only would thousands of animal and vegetable species be eliminated, but also enormous quantities of CO2 would be released into the atmosphere, aggravating climate change. Conservation of the aguajales, the majority of them publicly owned, will be achieved only if supported by the native communities themselves, and if they obtain benefits from those ecosystems. The communities today know that conserving the aguaje plant conserves an important source of natural riches and also conserves valuable ecosystems for Peru and the world.
And the last slide is we have to integrate ecosystem management, but also I think that the IWRM approach is at the core of the ecosystem services conservation and water security. You have conservation of ecosystem services. All the services give you water security, but to get this, you have to you need a cross-sector integration, and that means that decision makers and social change actors have to dialogue between them, and we do need a enabling environment, clarify institutional roles, and many different instruments for that. Thank you very much.